Here's an example of a strong, not perfect, but certainly improving response to this single source, which is Banksy's street art on the West Bank separation barrier that divides Israel and Palestinian territories. The artwork was created in 2005, and the question is, how could an historian use this source to explain perspectives on the Middle East? Let's see how this student has approached it. They write, Banksy's art on the West Bank separation barrier, okay, so that has identified the origin. We're hoping it might explain a little bit more than identifying it. We have something about the context, but that has repeated information from the caption. Perhaps it might say more than that. Was used to humorously and covertly point out the injustices committed by Israelis on Palestinians. Now we're getting to motive. Clearly this is the message of this source, so that's very useful to refer to motive. In the photo it shows an unusual event of a girl patting down a soldier. Right, so this is highlighting the tone. The tone is that this is an unusual event. This is some kind of an ironic statement. This is perhaps to signify how Israel's surveillance and protection has gone too far, restricting the Palestinian people. Now, we don't have a reference to date here. If we did, there could be a richer explanation here, talking about this is just after the Second Intifada, when the Palestinian people are feeling so restricted that they are uprising against the Israelis. The message could also be directed towards a more global audience. Right, so we have the idea of the audience being not just the people who walk past the wall and see the graffiti, but people who see the photo on websites and so on around the world. To give insight into how Palestinians felt about the Middle East conflict and to bring about an awareness to these conflicts. Two references to conflict without being specific means we're lacking some specificity here. Okay, just make a note of that. A historian could also use this photo for evidence of how Palestinians feel about surveillance, because we have the Israeli Defense Force monitoring the daily lives of Palestinians at the time. So it could also be used as evidence. So this might be suggesting it's fact, not just opinion, that they're under surveillance. The student ran out of time, which can happen in exams and it's no big deal. And so they've added 2 dot points. One is the desires for peace, Palestinian state and sovereignty should not be reduced to building a West Bank separation barrier and using surveillance cameras. Right. This again refers to motive. Hamas, the PLO, terrorism, not the threat that Israelis make them out to be. This is more about the motive. It's also about the tone, and this is getting into the heart of the message of the source. So with more time, more specificity, and perhaps references to date, this would have really rounded off this fairly good start to a response. It's probably in the region here of maybe 7 out of 10. With a bit more detail, could be a really thorough answer.